Hi. I'm filming this on my computer, so it looks very like grainy and not good. You won't be looking at me for most of the video. Also, that guitar is probably setting off somebody's fight or flight response. I'm not going to play it. Don't worry. Thank you, everybody, for 500 subscribers. That is so awesome. Oh, also, yeah, this mic is supposed to be on a desk. Thank you to Actual Context for sending me this mic, too. I'm sorry that I'm using my knee as a stand for it. Yeah, so it's really grainy, the video and everything, because there's no light in here, but like there's no light in this year, you know what I mean? Like the world bad, yeah, it's just like zeitgeist, uh avant-garde, if you will. Also, I'm working on the Batman and politics essay that I promised on Twitter, but while writing that, I started writing about this concept that I think about a lot, and that's going to come up in a lot of my videos, specifically also in simping for Superman, and maybe also whatever I do with Succession a little bit. You know how it's a joke how Batman's superpower is that he's rich?
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
5 million.
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. 6 million.
7 million.
Always pays their taxes. Not Batman.
Well, the thing is, that is his superpower. Money increases your access and ability, and as a rich person with a lot of money, he can therefore afford so much access and ability that he can hang out with and hold his own against superpowered people. Healthcare in the United States is a commodity, so treatments that can help you manage your disability require money. Having chronic illnesses is very expensive. Having to pay for pills every month means you get to save less money than people who don't. And I hear the Euro Canadians laughing at me, but it also comes with costs not covered by healthcare. Healthcare doesn't cover massages to help with pain, or not working full time because it's too much for you, or sensory items like ear defenders. Like, for example, Lady Gaga and I both have fibromyalgia. And I'll beat myself up for the fact that she does more than me. She has like an Oscar, I think. I want an Oscar. I don't have an Oscar. What am I doing with my life? But first of all, fibromyalgia affects people differently. Secondly, it's bad to compare yourself to other people like that, especially rich, famous people. And third of all, as a rich person, she can afford all kinds of treatments. The best cannabis for pain and as much she needs. Massages every day. Horse tranquilizers to sleep at night. This isn't to say that money always makes you, like, less disabled per se, but, like, sometimes it kind of can if you really want it to. It can absolutely make life so much easier and more accessible. There are a lot of negative aspects of disability in our society that can be canceled out or greatly alleviated by having enough wealth. Even aside from just traditional healthcare, augmentation is possible if you have the money. Expensive treatments are treated as optimization tools for the abled rich. They're not talking about a third thumb. It's a prosthetic so you can add another thumb next to your pinky. And I understand that's about rethinking the concept of prosthetics and brain plasticity, blah, 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 science. But it's messed up when you realize how limited some people's access to just having plain old boring two thumbs is.
Guess who just didn't kill anyone, but maybe only lost a couple of thumbs?
I don't know.
This guy.
Like, I'm a body modifications for all type of person, but it is hard for me not to be cynical of some of the plastic surgery I see celebrities get when I know that so many people are dying because they can't afford the surgeries they need. Like, Khloe Kardashian has a totally new face, and liberal feminists will be like, that's her choice. And yeah, it is, but how many of those dollars did she get from people who actually did the hard, dangerous, unfulfilling work? How many of those workers who she's exploited can't pay for their own medical treatments? I don't know. It doesn't mean you can't get a little filler or Botox or whatever, and I'm not here to guilt individuals, but at some point, doesn't that inequality get kind of egregious? As I was writing this, Trump and Chris Christie both tested positive for the Rona, which feels like it was a month ago now. And because they're both rich and powerful, they've been doing better than they probably would have if they didn't have all that money and power. Christie said he checked himself into a hospital as a precautionary measure, something that most people can't do. And Trump got to stay in a luxurious suite at Walter Reed and got an experimental treatment. Also, as I was writing this, I watched Casually Comics video about Batman 3 Jokers #2 because I have not been keeping up with the Bat family. This issue implies that Barbara, Batgirl, who was previously paralyzed but got some magical implant and now can walk again, now has chronic pain. My first thought upon seeing this was, no one with chronic pain could, like, ever go out superheroing like that. Which, to be fair, like, most people in general wouldn't be able to go out superheroing like that. But this stretched my suspension of disbelief. However, Barbara Gordon has a platonic sugar daddy and access to high-quality medical care. Although, on the other hand, we do know how Bruce feels about weed. He's not, like, very cool about it. Also, can somebody please get me to stop comparing myself to the implausible ink people? Speaking of implausible ink people, there are disabled people, there are able-bodied people, and in superhero universes, there are super-abled people. For example, if everything was built for and by Kryptonians in our solar system, a typical abled Earth person wouldn't be able to function in that society. Like, Clark wouldn't be able to take Lois to that new Krypton place that Zod and the Bottle City of Kandor made that one time. She would be made disabled by the social model of disability, something I talk about in my Crazy Jane video. It basically means that people are disabled not because of something inherently wrong with them, but because society is made by and for able-bodied people, and differences to that typical aren't taken into account. So then when the disabled person needs to get access, they often get told,
"That'd be a you problem."
Usually this phrase sets off my fight or flight response, but superheroes are differently abled. And like, that's normally a BS phrase because in real life it's used as a euphemism, and able people just don't want to use the word disability. Like, they think it's too negative or something, but superpowered people have an ability level that is different than the typical ability level. And sometimes they can have moments similar to moments in disabled people's lives. So like when Clark Kent first gets super hearing and it gives him sensory overload, or when Wally West's kids need medical attention because they were aging too quickly. That being said, having a superpower gives you a ridiculous amount of privilege and power. So if an able-bodied person had a ton of money, then they could use that money to buy extra ability, and that's how Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne play with the literal gods. But I don't really read Marvel. Like, it's not like I don't like it. I just, like, never got around to it. I don't know. I will someday, probably, maybe, but I just never got around to it. Also, Green Arrow counts, too. A lot of them count.
Comment your favorite example of this in the comments.
Some people have written fan fictions and stuff where Bruce Wayne is poor, but in order to pull off his stunts and to hold his own against increasingly militarized police and gangs, he'd need the best equipment and training, and those things require money. But this also means that money is essentially a narrative device, a means to an end, essentially an afterthought so you can suspend your disbelief. How does the guy fight crime if he doesn't have superpowers? Oh, maybe he's like a millionaire or something. There's also kind of a caveat to this. Like, there are some disabilities that will be more accommodatable than others. So like often Bruce Wayne and I think Tony Stark and Iron Man 2 are coded as having PTSD. And in Heroes in Crisis, bad, don't read it. Do not read it. It's so bad. Bruce Wayne is written as having possible OCD. And while these conditions may be disabling in some ways and in some aspects of life, they don't permanently interfere with these characters' ability to be a superhero, especially when you add all of the money and equipment and access that they have. Superheroes essentially have to either have a superpower or access to a ton of wealth. Money is a superpower that, along with drive, can take a strong yet typically able-bodied person and put them on the same power level as a demigod. So what does that mean for the real world? By allowing these people to accrue absurd amounts of money to the point where they could buy almost anything, and they don't even know how to spend it all, have we created demigods? The ultra-powered superheroes typically use their powers for good, or at least for what they think is good. What are the ultra-powerful in our world doing with that wealth? They have the power to save countless lives. Are they?
If you liked the video, be sure to click the like button. Share it if you feel so inclined. Subscribe for more about DC Comics and other media. If you're still watching, comment horse tranquilizers. Thank you for being here.